low output, weak competitiveness, according to the question. So I'll share. Okay, so these are the causes of inefficiencies: outdated machinery and high maintenance cost, and inefficient labor practices and skill gap, also limited access to capital and technology, weak management practices like weak coordination, and policy and infrastructure constraint. So these are the inefficiencies that we have identified. But when it comes to the overall analysis, we have identified some strength and the weaknesses of this manufacturing firm. When it comes to its strength, so we identify dedicated workforce and existing market presence, because this is a mid-size manufacturing firm. That means they have uh, developed up to some extent level. So when it comes to weaknesses, old equipment, low skills, poor management. As I mentioned, we believe that they don't get any proper training. And when it comes to opportunities, government intensives, new tech adoptions, and threats, regional competition, and financial barriers. So we have identified the strategies in different aspects. So first one is firms. So when it comes to firm, they can invest in modern machinery and learn processes and train and upskill workers, as we have identified so many labor inefficiencies. So we believe that we should train them, because we need to increase human capital, because we know through human capital we can increase innovations. And the next one is introduce performance intensives, because it's very important, because then laborers will encourage to do their works. And second, for last one is preventive maintenance and quality control. And when it comes to the government side, they can introduce tax incentives, credit schemes for modernization, and invest in infrastructure like power, transport, and internet. Also, vocational training programs and remote technology transfer and innovation. Basically, we focused more on the labors and the capital here, because as at the beginning, I said that there are so many inefficiencies when it comes to labor and capital. And when it comes to workers side, so embrace skill training and continuous learning, engage in productivity enhancing culture, and also cooperate with management, and improve work ethic. Also performance-based appraisal system, as I mentioned in previous. When it comes to technology experts, so automation of repetitive tasks and digital tools, we can use ERP, also Internet of Things, and predictive maintenance. Also very important R&D, research and development. As I mentioned, to improve the human capital, we need to invest on R&D, and quality assurance via advanced technologies. So how this link to economic growth? So first one, we need to it increases per capita GDP, also higher output and GDP growth, also low cost and improved global competitiveness, because we need to increase the global competitiveness, so then government can reduce the tax intensives and subsidies, because important thing is increase the competitiveness and attract investment and expand in industries, because when we increase our competitiveness, so it helps to attract foreign investments and job creations, rising incomes, also innovation driven long-term growth, because that is sustainable. When it comes to coordination and reflection, so common bottlenecks that we have identified are tech and skills, finance, management, also coordination, firms, workers, government, and industry experts. Also, we made some innovation solutions like learn production, incentives, and automation. So we can achieve micro level efficiency. So through that, we can achieve macro level growth. So overall conclusion is reducing inefficiencies require multi-stakeholder action, And as I mentioned, firms, workers, and government and industry experts. Also, as I mentioned, firm invest, train, modernize. Government when it comes to government, support intensives and build infrastructure. And when it comes to workers, upskill, adapt, and engage. And when it comes to tech experts, innovate and automation. So that's our presentation. Thank you very much.
But I did not find in a conclusion areas how to clearly not mention how reduce the or address the inefficiency, how improve efficiency, and how improve production and productivity. So that's the key three. And the same question I'll give final exam also. Think of that, and we can start the second group.
Professor, this is group number 7. We'll be going next. Okay, so let me start with a simple picture. Danidu, can you move to the second screen? Okay, so let me start with a simple picture here. Now, picture a factory where the machines are over 20 years old and workers don't have the right training, and the management spends more time putting out fires than actually planning ahead. So what exactly is driving this inefficiency? First, there's what we call a capital deepening problem. The machinery is fully depreciated because breakdowns are common, and cost per unit keep rising as a result. Second, there's X inefficiency, where workers are not producing anywhere near their potential because they don't have the incentives or motivation or even the skills to do so. Third, there's technology gap. While the rest of the world is moving into Industry 4.0, using AI-driven planning, robotics, and IoT sensors, this firm is stuck in the past. So then comes management issues. Now, instead of building long-term competitiveness, managers are usually stuck in short-term survival mode. That's what we see in most of these companies. And cutting corners without innovating. That's what they do. Finally, there are policy externalities. High interest rates make borrowing for upgrades too costly. And weak logistics infrastructure in place cost all along the supply chain. So all of these factors combine to create a serious productivity trap, and this is our diagnosis. I'll hand over to my colleague Navam to present the other bit.
So in terms of strategies, we've broken it down into 4 main pillars. So the first 2 are firms and government. In terms of firms, we can shift to a lean and a green production transformation whereby we reduce energy waste and carbon footprint. This also aligns with the EU and Western trade standards, improving attractiveness for customers and providing a larger customer base. Further, we can establish cluster-based manufacturing like in Vietnam's industrial parks, which include shared logistics, shared R&D, meaning lower unit costs and increased economies of scale. Firms also as a whole can explore export-oriented specialization where they scale products with comparative advantage. For example, specialized machinery parts and not just textiles or apparel. In terms of government, they can introduce policies such as the productivity-linked tax incentives. For example, tax savings proportional to output per worker improvements. They can also develop industrial upgrading funds, subsidized loans which are earmarked for technology adoption. They can also fix logistical bottlenecks such as ports and railways to reduce transport and the time to market for products. I'll now hand over to Danidu to take over the next bit.
Right. So 2 other things that we want to put in terms of strategies moving forward. We'll then present SWOT analysis as well. One is workers in terms of, I think we mentioned within our diagnosis as well, how the workforce and sort of like the ethos there needs to change, and that's where the Kaizen culture and the dual education models would be introduced. Secondarily, what we show is a profit sharing scheme, meaning this could be either breaking down of shares and that a percentage of that being moved towards also like a share allocation done to the workers to incentivize them further. We think companies like Huawei has done this. And the second sort of strategic approach we're taking is to introduce tech and tech experts into this to sort of with the funding that we have to make a investment into the maybe not the cutting edge but the future of our technologies. to bring in predictive maintenance systems which aren't that costly in today's day and age, apply digital twins, meaning to have replicas of production lines to then adopt as maybe as one entire scheme or one supply chain, and then to use blockchain for supply chain transparency and boost trust, meaning to include that, amalgamate that, and have that sort of give a comprehensive integrated sort of approach to our entire system sort of development, system upgrade rather. Now Sudharma and Upeka will take over for growth for the growth link and the bigger picture analysis.
Thank you, Danidu. So now let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture, because these improvements don't just fix one company, rather they reshape the economy. First, efficiency gains. When firms produce more with less, unit costs drop. And when costs drop, Sri Lankan export become more and more competitive. So we are not just catching up, we are positioning ourselves to rival Vietnam and Bangladesh in the regional market. And next, technology adoption. Smart system automation and digital tools boost total factory productivity. That not just a short-term spike, it's a long-run GDP expansion. It's the kind of growth that builds resilience and drives innovation. And then move to the skilled and motivated labor. When workers are empowered, wages increases. And when wages are increases, people spend more and more. That's the Keynesian multiplier effect, fueling domestic demand, strengthening local business, and at the last, lifting entire communities. And then coordinated upgrades, which means when firms, government, and tech experts move together, we create industrial clusters that attract foreign direct investments. So the FDI brings capital and then expertise and then global visibility. That's the magnet for the growth. So Dharma, over to you to continue.
So Becca. Yes, I will continue the slides, the growth link one. As Becca said that, just we had so many growth link with the scenario that we have discussed, especially when we consider about improving the efficiency at the firm level. That's not benefits for the company, it creates the effects for the across the whole economy. So especially when we consider about upgrading the machinery, adapting the better management practices, the product cost will go down and output it will increase, it will impact the productivity. On other hand, company will get more competitive and in the regional and global markets that can be boost the exports, and it will strengthen the foreign exchange and earning for the Sri Lanka. At the same time, work benefits from the better skill and higher wages that will improve the work conditions, that will increase the households income of the country, as well as create a strong consumer base for the country, and sometimes the consumer pattern also can be improved. On other hand, when we consider the technological adoption and innovations, that's also create the positive impacts of the country. So if the other firms start to adapt a similar practice, that will build up some modern industrial sector. On a large scale, those changes will finally contribute directly to the GDP, and it will impact to attract the more foreign investment, and that will position for the Sri Lanka as more competitive player in the regional economy. So in the shorts that we can see, the micro level improvements in the productivity can be impact to the macro level economic growth as well as for the competitiveness. I will hand over the next one to the Madhusha. Yes, sorry, now.
Now we'll.
Yes. So I'll close you by walking you through the SWOT analysis, Sri Lanka as a whole's manufacturing economy strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. In terms of threats, we've already established a strong domestic manufacturing base with an experienced workforce. Our geographical location is a key natural advantage, proving as a gateway to access for South Asian and ASEAN markets. Labor costs remain relatively low compared to competitors such as India, Bangladesh. And importantly, if we implement reforms, the productivity gains could be very high. In terms of weaknesses, our machinery is outdated and capital investment has lagged for years. There may be skill gaps and worker motivational challenges holding back efficiency that could be unlocked. Furthermore, in factories, management often focuses on short-term survival instead of long-term innovation. And another weakness is a lack of technological adoption. In terms of opportunities, we live in a world which is moving very fast, but this gives us a chance to leapfrog with AI, Internet of Things, automation, and digital twins. The government is already pushing for industrial upgrade and export diversification. If we can integrate more deeply into global supply chains and climb up the value ladder, we have a world of opportunity at our hands. And finally, green finance, along with ESG conscious buyers, creates an opening for us to position Sri Lanka as a sustainable manufacturing hub. In terms of threat, we all know that global competition is intensifying. Vietnam, Bangladesh, India, Indonesia, all moving quickly. Global buyers are demanding stricter ESG and traceability standards, and we risk losing markets if we don't adapt. Furthermore, we have high borrowing costs and policy uncertainty in Sri Lanka, making long-term investment harder for companies. And finally, one of the biggest problems we have is brain drain and migration of skilled workers abroad, which is draining our talent base. So to close, we know the reality. The building blocks are there: location, workforce, and potential productivity. However, the risks are real. The choice is clear. If we reform, upgrade, and innovate, Sri Lanka can reposition itself as a modern, sustainable, and competitive manufacturing hub. If we don't, we risk falling further behind. Thank you.
Okay, the problem, I think you just download from the AI and again the same issue, three stages I mainly mentioned: inefficiency, efficiency improvement, and production increase. So separately, specific things I did not see. And another thing also, one member is Chandrasiri. She was not originally in your group, right?
Yes, Professor, I think she had informed you as well that
Okay.
you'll be joining. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Then we can start. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
You can start your group right now.
Good morning, sir. We are Group 8 and these are the group members of our group. So as for the objective, our main objectives are threefold. Like first, to analyze the inefficiency challenges. Second, to propose strategies to improve efficiency and productivity and growth. And the third, to connect these improvements at the micro level to national level economic growth. Next slide. The case scenario is, the case we are studying is a mid-sized manufacturing company in Sri Lanka. The firm faces high production cost, low output, and weak competitiveness. The causes include outdated machinery, inefficient labor practices, and limited access to both capital and modern technology. Next slide. The diagnosis as shown in the slide, like when we analyze the sources of inefficiency, several key factors emerge, like labor issues, low skills and lack of motivation, capital limitations due to outdated machinery, minimal adoption of new technology, poor management and operational practices, and weak policy incentives in broader environment. Next slide. From the firm's perspectives, these strategies can be used to move from an inefficiency level to an efficiency level. Solutions including modernizing machinery, adopting lean production practices, investing in research and development, training workers, and expanding through partnerships and exports. Next is strategies that can be used from workers' perspective. Continuous skills training, cultivate a productivity-driven work culture, incentive and target-based motivation, active participation in decision-making. So these workers' perspectives, the strategies can be used in workers' perspective and for firms' perspectives. Can be used from moving from inefficiency level to a efficiency level. And moving to the next slide. The technology experts can help by introducing digital solutions such as ERP and AI and also IoT. Then can promote automation and smart manufacturing, support e-commerce and digital trade platforms, and ensure cybersecurity and data management, making production smart and more efficient. Like to develop or to grow more from, like, if after developing from inefficiency level to efficiency level, these practices can be used to growth, further more growth. And for the government strategies, in the government's perspective, government plays a crucial role in creating an enabling environment. It can provide tax incentives and low interest loans, and improve infrastructure such as energy and transport, and also for ICT sector. Encourage foreign direct investment and private-public partnerships, develop clear and supportive regulators to boost industry competitiveness, and provide training programs for different groups. The next slide. From here onwards, I invite Tarundi to continue the presentation.
Okay, so as we see growth link, all these combined efforts translate directly into growth. Higher productivity leads to lower costs and higher output. This makes firms more competitive in global markets, create better jobs and upgrade skills, and contributes to stronger GDP growth and sustainable development. Next slide. Next. Let's looking at a quick SWOT analysis. Our strength include on experienced workforce and market presence, but weaknesses remains outdated machinery, low productivity, and limited access to capital. Opportunities lie in adopting modern technology, expanding export markets, and making use of policy support for industrial growth. Yet threats such as regional competition, rising costs, and global market shocks cannot be ignored. Next slide. Next, we will present risk analysis. Policy incentives are stable, are key. Economically, inflation and credit access and attracting foreign investment are critical. Socially, we need to stronger training, a better productivity culture, and ways to reduce resistance to automation. Technologically, we must adopt digital tools and automation and green innovation to stay ahead. Next slide. Before wrap up our presentation, in conclusion, let's imagine we start at point A. It is an efficiency level, but by applying internal strategies like improving skills, we can move to point B. Then with external strategies like government strategies and technological strategies, point B move to point C. Then TP curve also upward with GDP growth. This is end of our presentation. Thank you.
The two members, your group, Pearson, another 2020.
I think Iris is a PhD student, so she is not
Right.
in the group anymore. Other Eric Vijayavardhan, I think he's absent today, sir.
Okay, right. We can go with the next presentation. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
But the group 10 did not give the names.
Names are there, sir, in the next slide. Just here.
Okay, right.
So we have shared it in the group also. This is mostly the PhD students here. So so we basically started with the diagnosis to identify what causes the inefficiency of this mid-size manufacturing firm. So the first thing is this firm is operating inside this PPF. So which means that it is not utilizing the available resources at the moment. So what are the causes for this? This basically causes from the outdated machinery, which leads to your low output with the same input, which is resulting in capital inefficiency. And then the inefficient labor practices, which highlights the misallocation of human resources and lack of skilled labor. So resulting from these labor practices, there is a poor management, which results in inefficiency due to labor slacknesses. So we also saw that law of diminishing returns, where wedding labor to fixed capital will decrease your marginal output. And then being a mid-sized firm, this might have limited access to capital and tech, restricting capacity to shift the PPF outward. So lack of responsiveness to the policies competitively is something that has resulted in this organization's lackluster performance. So that's another area that we need to address it. So what are the strategies that we propose in terms of different stakeholders that have been mentioned? So with respect to firms, what they have to do is they have to think of investing in modern machinery and look at process automations, which might not require larger investments. And then you will have to adopt lean production, production practices like just-in-time, Kaizen, things like that. And then you also need to upskill your management and the workforce. And then from a government perspective, yes, the government can consider introducing tax incentives for capital investment, so that you can attract some foreign FDIs as well. So then improve infrastructure through electricity, logistics, and things like that. And then one of the areas we think is we can offer low interest loans or credit guarantees for organizations going for tech upgrades. So that would propel the industry manufacturing firms upward in terms of adopting new technology. And then with respect to workers, yes, they have to participate in training and upskilling, so their production efficiencies will increase. And then they can also be given incentives on the productivity base, so that would be encouraged, the performances would be encouraged. And then the organization will need to embrace the performance culture so that your productions will increase. And then technology experts will have to promote digital tools like ERP, AI based quality controls, and things like that. And then to build on the affordable automations rather than trying to increase high cost efficient processes. And then the system, since it is a manufacturing entity, we can also look at introducing energy efficient technologies. So how the growth is possible from this? As the current resources and the new resources are being better utilized, there is always a possibility from improving the PPF to the frontier, from inside to the frontier. And then you can shift the PPF outward through the long-term growth from tech, skills, and capital, because that will enable the organization to have increased production and at a more efficient manner. So what will happen is this will induce micro level improvements in supply chain, because when a firm produces more, there is always that the demand for the supply, so which will also improve the supply chain practices. And then the firm level production increase will result in a competitive market environment, so which will also result in a better choices for consumers and consumer level utilization. So this will contribute overall on the macro level GDP growth and the competitiveness and also job creation. So the firms will grow, which will contribute to the economic growth, and the competitiveness will increase, which will also make the GDP to grow, and that will result in more investments coming in on job creation side. So that's the thought process. And then technology enhancement contributing to the industry-based adoption will means that it will enable the firm to go into a knowledge-based economy. And also when we are integrating the components in the value chain through different components like quality, precision, and unique value, that will also have an impact on the overall economic development. And then how, when your firms when a firm like this starts producing better quality product, your branding will improve. So this the increased competitiveness which will also result in strengthening the local brands, and this will also lead up to attracting the FDI. So we also did a small process flow in terms of how this flow will work, how the diagnosis will work, and what are the clear causes were outdated tech, low skills, poor management, and limited capital, and how each stakeholder could go into this. So at the implementation phase, this will result in increased output, lower cost, and better competitiveness, which will result in PPF shifts outward and the higher GDP and growth. And that's all, Prof.
Okay. Thank you very much. And next time when they make the presentation, background don't use as a black. So maybe that's not a good way.
Okay.
I hope all the group had done. Okay. Since all the group has done, so I will continue rest of the lecture right now. Now, last week we start this slide. I already shared with you the last week, and just quickly look at what we discussed last time. These are the textbook I mentioned. And again, quickly, it's a managerial level. When you make the decision, I explain why or how the theory of production we can use and important. And also two things we discussed related to economic efficiency. There are technical efficiency and allocative efficiency. Even all of your presentation, I did not see any one use that even the terms, and most of you just took from some AI support and did the presentation. But you can use the AI support, but don't directly everything take from. You have to your own discussion. And the economic efficiency, like I said, the two component. The economic efficiency has two component. And the one is the allocated efficiency related to the cost, how the budget used efficiently. Second one, the technological efficiency, how the resources used efficiently. This combination of these two, we can reach the economic efficiency. And as a producers try to do either minimize cost given output or maximize output given budget or given cost, the producers reach this economic efficiency level. That is the thing. So what we try to understand here, this lesson, these two things, minimization cost and the maximization output, given cost, the previous one, given output. And this is the related to the today exercise. Also, I gave you production curve, how to improve, how to shift the production. And also last time I explained when you connect in the macroeconomics, shifting the production possibility frontier also you have to look at, but none of your presentation I show it. And that is also the link I saw last week. These are the some of the point what we have to look at, even the constraint and policies and improvement in different, with the support of different stakeholders, how ultimately it's linked to the macroeconomics, and so with the graph I discussed last time. So for discussion purpose, though when you take the production or production function, we have to include all the input. But here we include only two inputs, labor and capital. Hereafter, we go with these two input. And with that, this table shows two input case, the capital and the labor. Using different combination, this inside this matrix, you can see the output. All the output here, I want to say here, all the outputs are technologically efficient level of output. For example, 64, the three places you can see, all the combination, whatever to produce 64, technologically efficient. The similar to the other, any other number here, but you pick up, all of them are technologically. Now, the short term or the long term, in that case, to look at the economic efficiency, we have to adjust here allocative efficiency. That one, only in case of, for example, 64 production, 3 combination, 1 combination only economically efficient, though all of these 3 combination, I mean, as example, technologically efficient. And when you pick up another combination, another product, similar, also same story. Now, if you to take the decision to understand the production, there are things we have to look at. One is the short-run behavior, the one is the long-run behavior. In case of short-run, I defined the last time. Take the decision for understanding, we have to understand the factor productivity, given technology, given capital. The producers try to improve the factor productivity. For example, if you take the labor, the producers take the decision, get the most looking at the factor productivity in case of labor productivity. The long run is all the inputs become variable, no fixed input with the time period. And the producers take the decision based on theory called return to scale. The previous short run, the theory called productivity, here return to scale. There also last time I explained, we can look at this in the two ways, like same coin in the two side. If you look at the production side, we call it return to scale. If you look at the cost side, we call it economic scale. Both we are going to do. And here the short run, how to apply the factor productivity. First, to understand short run, let's say given capital, this is the poor. When you change the, or let's say increase the labor, this what happened, output increase or decrease, this happened along the blue line. Now, in this case, the lowest point is 24, highest is 85 product. It doesn't mean that the producers always efficient, economically efficient 84. That what we try to do using the factor productivity and the short run. So it may be the best short run production 67, still we don't know. And the best combination labor may be recruitment 5 or 6 or even 8, still we don't know. So that we will study, we will look at later on. Just to understand the long run, what we explain, both, in this case, that's why I use the word both. Of course, the reality, there are many inputs. Here, 2 inputs, I use the both input, same situation. In the reality, all the inputs, when the both inputs change in starting with the 1 month, it's not necessary the same ratio. The 1 month, this is how the producers move. 4, 18, 41, 60, like that, 75. In that case also, it doesn't mean that producers always has to reach the highest point, 128. It doesn't mean that that's the point, the economically efficient decision, the long run. It could be different somewhere 60 or 70 or 90, even 120, still we don't know. The other labor and capital recruitment individual firms look at. When I use the individual firm, all the firm, if we look at this recruitment we add in, we can get the macro level employment related to capital and also labor, number of workers, number of employment you get. Individual, let's say, assuming that the firm produce 75 and assume only one sector, one industry in the country, adding this 75 with the number of firms, you can find the industry output, assuming that only one industry. So that with the GDP, that reflect the production possibility frontier in the country. Now, still, when I use these two, individual firms, industry, and the oral economy. Now, I found the gap, maybe we have to think of later on. So we can do the explanation of behavior, individual firm, like production, even the curve taken, and we can link it to the national level. But this kind of tool, still, there must be, I can't recall or I don't remember any way to explain the industrial level discussion using the kind of graph or tool, because that link firm directly to the using the firm and the production possibility frontier national level. So maybe the gap I can notice in the industrial level tools to explain this kind of behavior. Maybe one PhD student can do a good study, or maybe the literature review you can find. And so that. This is the point last time I stopped, the law of diminution, which apply the short-run decision. So we are going to understand what is law of diminishing return and how producers take and where producers take short-run decision. Now this, the exercise I want to do with you right now, because I am not going to do in the lecture today since we already spent some time. And here, short-term situation I try to explain. And if you have the book, what I written, publish, you can see the table like that, exercise like that in the exam. Maybe you can practice those. The capital given 20, and when the labor change, let's say the labor increase, this is what happened total output. Now what you have to do right now, I don't give time. This column or this value, you have to find aggregate average production. The average production to find easier, total product output divided by labor, number of labor. And also the marginal product, that become the second and third column, average product, and then the marginal product. Get the column here. How to find the marginal product, you have to get the different change of quantity divided by the change of labor. With that, you get the marginal product. So what you have to do, complete this table. After that, draw these two charts. The first one, the taken total output with labor, and see the shape what you get, and check it and do it after the lecture when you have a free time. And the second, just underneath, what you have to do, draw the average product curves and the marginal product curve. Average product and the marginal product curve. So there you will notice when you come to that relationship I made in the exam. When you come to the maximum point, total product, the marginal product, you get the 0. When you get the maximum slope here, you get the marginal product at the maximum. So the marginal product curve goes like that. Here is small mistake I made here. So that's how the marginal product curves go. The relationship you also understand. 0 production, no marginal product. The maximum point total product, marginal product also 0. And the increasing rate increase the output. You can see the marginal product increase. After that, the marginal product, total product still increase, but decreasing rate. You can see here. Then the total product come to the maximum point where the marginal product becomes 0. After that, total product decreasing. There you can see the marginal product negative. So here marginal product negative. Here the marginal product less than 0, greater than 0 but negative, positive, in between 0 or greater than 0. And also you get the average product also. That curve also you draw here. Then you can see the relationship. When the average product comes to the maximum point, it cross the marginal product curve here, reach the marginal product equal average product. In the exam, I'll ask this relationship between these curves. So there you have to explain, draw, and everything you have to do. And mathematically also using algebra also you have to explain. And there, look at when you draw also be careful. The marginal product curve cross the maximum point of the average product curve. So that you can do. The marginal product, if you look at the total product curve, the slope of the total product curves, each point become marginal product. So that's what we have to understand. So here, based on the graph or this figure, you can see For example, marginal product and the average product. Here, increase in marginal point, we get the increase in, and there you can see the negative slope, they are diminishing product. And here the negative marginal product, you jump into negative. Right. So that's the 3 point you can identify. So this is the curve. When you draw, you will get here. You can see the point B, we get the diminishing return start here. Why? Because up to this point, the production increasing rate. After that, still the production increase, but decreasing rate. So up to this point D, there you reach the maximum point. After that, negative. With that, the link what you see or relationship between these curves, you can see here the maximum point in the maximum slope, the point B. So there start the diminishing return. You can see the negative slope, the marginal cost curve. And here, at the top here, the maximum point you can reach here, point E, so maximum point. So this point, you can see the point C, they are the marginal product and average product equal because you can see slope of the curve as well as the average, the value is here. So that reached to there. Now, these are the things we discussed. So this relationship you can explain this way. Now you can see if the marginal product is positive, the marginal product is positive, oh sorry, not positive, greater than, even the positive, greater than the average product. Greater than the average product. Average product is increasing. Now look at here, I draw these 2 curves, sorry, maybe I draw here. This is the average product. Here the marginal product. So the first place what we are talking about, this stage, marginal product is greater than the average product. You see the marginal product goes above the average product. They are the up to average product increasing, you can see here. Now when the average product start to decrease and that range, you can see opposite happen, marginal product is less than the average product. Marginal product is curved below the average product up to here. That we call as a second stage. I'll come to that point quickly. And at the end, you can see this boundary here, the marginal product equal average product. There the average product price come to the maximum point. So the third stage, the marginal product become negative. That's what we consider as the third stage. That's what we consider as the third stage. Now, this quick, I show those stages here. These are the 3 stages I show you, but I come back to this later on. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Now you can see the stage 1 boundary, stage 2 and 3 boundary. So here boundary, the marginal product equal average product. Here boundary marginal product equal 0. Now exam, I may ask you to identify these 3 stages as one of the question. Giving the production function, let me share again. like here, for example, I can give a production function like that. This is some so kind of a production function like that. Then you should be able to find this is the short-term production function because the no capital here. These three boundaries. Like here, the boundary here. They are the marginal product, equal average product. There you can identify the stage 1, boundary between stage 2 and 3. To understand marginal product equal to 0. So the equation right now I gave you, I don't know whether you can get numbers because I just wrote and without estimation and calculation. But there you can find differentiate the total product with respect labor, you can get the marginal product. You can get the marginal product. This particular exercise is the answer become 4 minus 4L plus 8. So you can see since I with arbitrary they come in negative, not negative, positive. The answer become L equal to if the marginal product becomes 0, this point. So to how to find average product, Q divided by L. So there you get the answer here. I don't know here also you get the minus 2L plus 8. So become average product. With that now, since you have marginal product, you have average product, you can find these boundaries also. Then you can draw these curves. So that the way I give exam and the question. Now, the last point must be today. What we discussed the relationship between this marginal product and average product. If you look at the Q as the total product, how to find the marginal product, but you have to do Q divide by L. So you get the average product. How to find the marginal product? You differentiate total product with respect L. With respect L. Now here, when you differentiate, you can Now, for example, Q, let's say kind of a standard production curve. L is L power, and the K, whatever number, let's say here, there. The short run situation, this is constant. Short run situation, this is constant. Now you can see, given this kind of a production function, you can find the average product. So just Q divided by L. So we'll get the answer A. Here the A plus A you can put together because these are constant in this case, you can do. So that is also constant in this case. And L, this is the average product. The marginal product also you can find. For that, what you have to do, differentiate the production function with respect to L. There you get the marginal product. Now, when you differentiate this one, you get the 2A K 3. All of them are constant term again. L. Now you have the average product, you have the marginal product. So with real value, you can get them, and then you can find a relationship. So then differentiation, those things you have to learn, or mathematics you have done. So hereafter, a little bit next week when you come, if you haven't done in mathematics, a little bit study the differentiation, or maybe a few minutes I spend, I will teach you little differentiation rules and things. We will continue this from next week. And go back to the lecture note what we discussed here. Again, I revision, but these are the three stages in the short-run production: stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. The boundaries look at carefully. In the exam matter, I'll give production function. Now we have to look at, as a producer, which stage they take the decision. Short run. Whether the stage 1, where recruit labor or whatever the input, let's say here 10, let's say here 22. So we are going to look at whether the producers recruit short run less than 10 labor or in between 10 to 22 somewhere, or greater than or more than 22 labors, which means the stage 1, 2, or 3. Definitely the answer I will discuss later on also. Stage 2, you have to find Y, and stage 2 also we can find the exact point like group labor 15 or 14. That to be decided, we must know prices of goods what we produce and the input prices, in this case the labor, and also cost. With those information, we can exactly find out where the producers take the decision in terms of recruit number of laborers, make the decision. And when they make the decision number of laborers or input short run, the producer definitely pick up the optimal production like I explained before in the short run, whether produce a number. For example, optimal number of labor per the production come 60 the particular firm produce. So for that we will do next week. And with that I'll stop today. So if you have any clarification or any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, you can leave the meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor.
Okay. It look like no questions. And thanks. See you next week. We will continue.
Hi, sir. Can I talk to you, sir?
Yeah.
Sir, I'm Chandrasiri, sir. I was at group 2. I
understood. I got it.
Okay.
No
Thank you very much.
I got
sir.
it.
Okay, thank you.
Professor, can you share the lecture note on the group if it's okay?
We did last time, right? You want right now, or maybe I what can WhatsApp?
Yeah, on the WhatsApp. Yeah, if it's possible.
This is the master, right?
Yeah, for